How the tit-for-tat trade spat means Chinese EV makers, prompted by higher levies, could turn their attention to India. While there are benefits from increased investment, analysts say New Delhi will be wary about giving too much market access to its rival. CNA's Rebecca Bundhun reports on this delicate balancing act.
India may be the world's most populous nation and its third largest auto market, but its electric vehicle sector is still in its relative infancy. Last year, only 2% of all cars sold in the country were electric. The Indian government's aim is to hit 30% by 2030.
The Modi government is pushing for more domestic manufacturing of EVs and their components as it aims for the country to become more self-reliant. It has, for example, introduced financial incentives for companies that make vehicles in India, as well as subsidies for EV buyers.
Import tariffs for EVs currently range from 70% to 100%, depending on their value. But in March, the government dropped duties on high-end cars to 15% for car makers that set up a local manufacturing unit within 3 years, a move seen as rolling out the red carpet for US car maker Tesla. India's market potential has also attracted Chinese-owned EV companies, including BYD and MG Motor, which is making 2 of its EV models in the country. And now that the EU, China's largest export market for EVs, has threatened to raise tariffs to as high as 38% from July, analysts say Chinese automakers may hasten their shift to the south. But this will likely be met with caution.
China is going to try and dump where it can. India has put up strong defenses to prevent that kind of dumping. India is looking out for this, but India is a growth market and India is an attractive market. So there is going to be some way that India and China do end up working together.
So far, attempts by Chinese EV makers to make inroads have stalled. BYD last year shelved plans for a $1 billion investment with its local joint venture partner, reportedly after its proposal came under scrutiny from New Delhi. And in 2022, China's Great Wall Motors scrapped its 2-year operation after the government imposed restrictions on investments from countries sharing a land border with India.
They had to completely pull back from the Indian market just because of rules here on how you can set up companies, right? We've had similar issues with MG Motors as well, which is owned by a Chinese conglomerate as well, right? However, MG has found a way to kind of stay in India by bringing in a local partner.
While there might be concerns about dumping, experts say the entry of Chinese car makers can present an opportunity for India.
Moves like this create manufacturing hubs. So whether it's India, whether it's Indonesia, whether it's Japan, those EVs need to go to the US or the Germany or EU from somewhere. And there's nothing stopping India from being the manufacturing base for these things. And that can be a way of having a symbiotic relationship with China.
He says joint ventures with Chinese firms can help India develop its own manufacturing capabilities. After all, domestic EV makers, including market leader Tata Motors, depend heavily on China for batteries and semiconductors. And although it will need to strike the right balance with its domestic industry, experts say opening up to Chinese and other foreign brands can help the sector to accelerate. Rebecca Bundhun, CNA, Mumbai.